parents, they raised me as a Muslim. I thank you, Allah. And I thank you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for giving me this great opportunity so I can be here today, standing before you, speaking, teaching, and preaching the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the best of my knowledge and my ability, so help me God. I bear witness there is no one should be worshipped except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the last prophet. The prophet and the seal of all the prophets is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Those who has been guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they cannot be misguided. And those who has been misguided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they cannot be guided. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that the deen, the religion has been completed. And anybody would take any other religion besides the religion of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept it from him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke in the Quran and Kareem about everything that it might face us. Any kind of a problem we might face in this life, we will find it in the Quran, we will find it in the deen. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Islam is the life. Islam is for real. Islam is the reality. Islam is the everyday reality that we face it. Islam is the only guaranteed thing that it will lead you to Al-Jannah. And nothing else will lead you to Al-Jannah except for Islam. Therefore you should be a true Muslim and a true believer. And bear witness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a Muslim and as a true believer all the time. And do al-istighfar and tasbih and get closer with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially these days we are getting very close from Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I mentioned two things in the Quran, two examples. The first one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran al-Kareem, أَوَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَوْقَهُمْ أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَوْقَهُمْ صَافَّاتٍ وَيَقْبِضْنَ مَا يَمْسِكُهُنَّ إِلَّا الرَّحْمَنُ إِنَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ بَصِيرٌ. One day I had a conversation with some guys who happened not to be a Muslim and they wanted to know something about Islam. And one of those guys asked me if I can't tell them something that happened in our days that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about it as they claim 1400 years ago, because they think Islam is only good for 1400 years ago. But Islam is always good for 1400 years ago and today and tomorrow and the future. So I say to them about the airplanes. The airplane that it flies up in the sky. The reason why these airplanes are flying because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not because of the engineers and those guys who made these airplanes. They think they could fly by their own power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلْيَنْظُرُوا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَلْيَنْظُرُوا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَوْقَهُمْ صَافَّاتٍ. Look up at the sky and see the birds. They're flying back and forth. مَا يُمْسِكْهُنَّ إِلَّا الرَّحْمَنِ. The only thing is stopping them from falling on the ground is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هَذَا لَيْسَ بِكَلَامِي وَإِنَّمَا بِكَلَامُ اللَّهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only thing that is stopping these airplanes and the birds from falling off is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other example that I gave those brothers at the time, as-sufun, al-bawakhir, the ships that it floats on top of the oceans. And we spoke about Titanic, and I'm sure some of you guys heard me saying Titanic, they wanted to know the story. I will tell you. I asked one of those guys if he ever happened to watch the movie Titanic. And they say yes to me. I said, what did you like about the movie? They said, we like the fact the way they built up the ship. They thought there's nothing will sink these ships. There's nothing will capsize these ships. But they challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, I'm telling you, my brother and sister, everything that you do, please do not challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هَذِهِ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَلَا تَعْتَدُوهَا. This is the red line for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try not to cross it. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, بِلَمْشَةِ عَيْنٍ وَأَنْتَ تَلْحُظُهَا يُغَيِّرُ اللَّهُ مِنْ حَالٍ إِلَى حَالٍ. By a blink of an eye, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could turn things around, could change things around. And look what happened in Egypt. Look what happened in Tunisia. Look what happened in Yemen. Look what happened on these countries. We never thought for one day that the regime in Egypt will collapse in 22 days. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant for the regime to collapse, and it did happen by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We go back to Titanic now. Those guys, they say they like the way they build up the ships, and they never thought something will ever happen to it. As I just mentioned, they challenged Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I remember we all seen that scene in the movie when the ship was going down and everybody was on the ship was yelling and screaming for help, but nobody came to help them. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran al-Kareem, فَلَا صَرِيخَ لَهُمْ وَلَا هُمْ يُنْقَذُونَ. When they yell, they scream, but nobody can hear them. They're yelling and they're screaming for help, but they never ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. That's why no one came for them to help them, to rescue them. إِلَّا مَتَاعًا مِنَّا إِلَّا مَتَاعًا وَرَحْمَةً مِنَّا وَمَتَاعًا إِلَى حِينٍ. Thank you, my brother. إِلَّا مَتَاعًا مِنَّا وَرَحْمَةً إِلَى حِينٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could save them for a short time of joyness and happiness, and will stop. لأن الله سبحانه وتعالى هو رحيم بجميع البشرية ليس بالمسلمين فقط. والله لو تعلم البشرية كما الله سبحانه وتعالى رحيم بالبشرية لما أشرك إنسان واحد بالله سبحانه وتعالى.